All right, welcome to this video on acupressure for overactive bladder. In other words, why am I peeing so much and what can I do? So overactive bladder syndrome is a situation where the bladder, the storage abilities of the bladder there's a dysfunction and it's causing a sudden urge to urinate and can be difficult to control. There can be loss of urine, involuntary, urge incontinence, what they call it. So what does frequent urination mean? By Western standards, it means going more than 8 times a day or 2 times at night. Now, the Chinese medicine standard's a little bit more stringent. We're talking 5 times a day, more than 5 times a day, or more than once at night. So, we are falling into that categories. What is causing this to happen? It can be a number of things. I'm not going to go into all of it right now. It can be what we call like a dysfunction of the kidney system, the bladder nerve signals, or the muscle activity in the bladder, because we can get spasms in the bladder. It can be a number of underlying conditions that can cause this, everything from MS to Parkinson's. Can have to do with fluid intake. If we're doing a lot of, fresh fruits and a lot of fluids going into our body, we may just be dealing with that. There can be bladder disorders, diabetes, medications, certain herbs like dandelion, a known diuretic. I said pharmaceutical medications could be illicit drugs as well, urinary infections. That usually goes with a burning sensation when we urinate. Can have to do with an enlarged prostate, can have to do with caffeine level. If we're drinking a lot of coffee, a lot of tea, this can irritate the bladder. So in Chinese medicine, the bladder issue in this case with the frequency, it has to do with most often a deficiency of energy, or what we call qi, in the bladder system. Often, the bladder organ is paired with the kidney system. When the kidney system is weak, which it pretty well is in, almost everybody in the modern world, aside from maybe young children, and even then, it can be the case, congenital illness and so forth. So when the kidney system is weak, it's not supporting the bladder systems. The two of them are supportive of one another. The kidney is basically the source of energy it's one of the sources of energy for the bladder system. So we need to protect our kidney energy. You may be familiar with that idea. So one of the points that we're going to use in acupressure is a point called kidney 3. Kidney 3 is the source point on the kidney channel. So in acupuncture, in acupressure, we are looking at the body as a meridian system. The body is made up of these meridians, which are like channels, energy pathways of the body. And the acupuncture points fall on these channels for the most part. And it's like a globe. When you look at a globe and you see the meridian, you see the lines, the longitudinal lines and the latitudinal lines, and it gives us a framework for understanding, directions and finding landmarks, this sort of thing. So the energy pathways on the body are also giving us these ideas. So kidney 3, let's get back to that, is a very important point for strengthening the kidney system. This point is found in a depression at the ankle, on the inner ankle, between the medial malleolus, that's that bony protrusion at the base of the shin there. And so it's between the medial malleolus and the tendocalcaneus, which is, there's a tendon at the back of the ankle. And so there's a depression between these two spots. And so the point itself is level with the tip of the medial malleolus. So you're going into this depression. Acupressure here, or acupuncture, the benefits of doing this in terms of overactive bladder. So this point can treat frequency of urination, so reducing the frequency. And interestingly enough, the kidney system is associated with fear, the emotion of fear. So all of the energy pathways of the body, they also have a mental, emotional aspect. When a person, we can see this, we can understand this quite easily. You know, a person who is like very fearful, they're very terrified, you know, maybe they've gone into shock or something. They're maybe in great danger, for example, they can have a sudden, strong urge to urinate. This is well known. So fear has a role to play with the kidneys. Fear, it depletes the energy of the kidney. So by stimulating this point, kidney 3, it also helps with the emotion of fear, anxiety, which is another version of fear, and the symptoms that go along with anxiety, such as palpitations, heart palpitations, the feeling of your heart beating in your chest. Now, conception vessel 4. So this is on the abdomen. It's 3 inches below the belly button. And now we all have a different size torso. So the most accurate way of measuring is to take your hand and measure 4 of your fingers below the belly button. So that's where conception vessel 4 will be found on you. We all have different size hand, different size body, so this is the best measure. So don't get a ruler, it's not the best way. Okay, now so this point is normally stimulated with moxibustion. Moxibustion is maybe a new word for you. This is a type of heat therapy where we take moxa wool. Moxa wool is refined from an herb called mugwort. And so they refine it so it gets this texture like fluffy wool, and is rolled into small cones and burned at that point over a layer of moxa cream, which protects the skin. So that's a Japanese way of doing moxibustion. There's many ways. The picture I'm going to show you here is showing smokeless moxa cigars, we call them. This is a way that you can do it at home, okay? So moxa cigars, it's not a direct heat for you. It's much safer for someone that is like a lay person, just wanting to do some home treatments on themselves. So we often send patients home with moxa cigars, and this is very good for the therapy. They can come into the clinic for acupuncture, and then they can continue their treatments by doing some moxibustion at home. It's really important. So the reason heat is so effective here is because this point is very important for inputting energy into the body. So heat is a type of energy, and it's very powerful. So if this area, you can test on yourself. If this area feels cold, not a good sign. It means the vital energy of the body is low. This can be seen in people with more sickness. So take note on yourself whether this area is warm or cold. We always want to keep this area warm. You know, in Asia, they sell actually like fabric belts that go around the belly so that this area stays warm. And that's to preserve their vital energy, to maintain their health. So we always want to keep this area a little bit warm. And that's important just for general health maintenance, and especially as we get older, because the body gets colder and more deficient. So heat therapies like moxa become very important. So the benefits of stimulating this point, whether you're going to do just acupressure or whether you're going to do some moxa, I highly recommend moxa for this area, but even just some acupressure, the benefits of treating this point are frequent urination, also can be retention of urine, enuresis, as well as lower abdominal pain, quite a lot of other things that it can treat, but let's just work with that for now. Let's talk about spleen 6. So this is also on the inner ankle. 4 of your fingers above the medial malleolus again, but this time it's going to be halfway between the front of the ankle and the back of the ankle. So just midway on the leg, the inner leg there. And this point is called 3 Yin Crossing. So there's 3 channels that run through this point. The spleen, liver, and kidney channels all run through here. And so treating this point, it really strengthens both the spleen system, the liver system, and the kidney system. So it covers a lot of ground. This point is used for many, many issues. One of the issues with the spleen is to transform dampness in the bodies. Too much urination, too much water. This is also can be a function of dampness not being controlled. Difficult urination can be the bladder system can be blocked because of dampness, so the urine is not coming out properly. So, and then because this point also treats the kidney, like I was saying, everything from the kidney that I said earlier also applies here. And this point also is very calming on the mind, because it's a point that's used for yin. So yin and yang, these are 2 concepts in Chinese medicine. Yin has to do with the calming, nourishing, quiet, feminine energy in the body. Okay, so these 3 points are very good because there's many studies have been done on using acupuncture and acupressure to treat overactive bladder. And the University College of London Hospital confirmed their independent research. They found 79% of patients participating in their clinical trial had significant outcomes using these 3 points: conception vessel 4, kidney 3, and spleen 6. And, when I was looking through a lot of studies, these 3 points came up again and again in the research that was done, showing that, people receiving acupuncture were having a, very positive outcome, between 70 and 90% improvement on this issue. So there you are. There is some points, some practical advice that you can use, and you can put it into practice at home. So how are you going to do acupressure? You're going to just put pressure, with your thumb, with your fingers. Your thumb is probably the best. And, just give some strong pressure. You can kind of go in a little bit of a circular motion a little bit. You want it to be strong enough that you kind of feel some. It's not going to be just all sort of soft and superficial, like some types of massage, you want to go kind of hard in. You want to feel something. So you can do this for a couple minutes. You can do it 3 times a day for maybe 2 minutes to 5 minutes each time, and that will have a good effect. And I will also be putting together a how to do moxibustion video, and then you'll have instructions from there, and you can learn how to do the moxibustion for yourself. Then you will start to see some results. That is my wish. Okay. All right. Thank you for listening. Take care.